Hello everyone, it's me, Crystal and Mitchell. I see that the last video that y'all, my little views that went up. So y'all been feeling that. So, okay, so, as, I don't know, so up under my thing, I got, story time. I'm back story time, and then I got story time 1 and then story time 2. So those two go together. The phone had clicked off and I refused to do it all over again. So that's why I separated. So at first the numbers was going together, the views and then all of a sudden the second was much higher than the first one. So yeah, those two go together. And then it's the my last story time. So this will be another story time. So I've already discussed about dreams and stuff, and I told you that when dreams come in threes, and then about the man and that was in when I was supposed to went to L.A. Well, when I had went to L.A. So I already discussed how it was 3 dreams that came that I jumped out the window, and how I got was 2 huge cobras, and I had got struck by a woman snake, and then there was a male snake, but it was the woman. And then the next dream was that I was driving in a car and I did hit something, and I got out of the car to see what it was, and then it was a white woman and a white man inside of the car. So that was indicating that I'm being followed, monitored, tracked. I already knew that's what that dream was. And then the third dream was where I was on the corner, and how there was a man across the street shooting at me, and I was on the corner next to the police. So it was during the daytime downtown, but I just didn't know where. And that's when you all could see on that video or on that short clipping of my trip to LA, or what she meant for evil, God turned around for good. So you can see where that dream, you can actually see that the dream had came true. So that's why I was scared of going to LA, which the man that was supposed to have been across the street shooting at me, it ended up being I ran into the people in the film industry, and I got to present my book to them. So like I said, as the dream came, I was supposed to, somebody wanted to come, and they wound up coming, but how it was his window I jumped out of. And then how, the letter that I found, and then the planes kept delaying. And so when I told you on the last video how I had how God would start waking me up in the middle of the night out of my sleep early morning. So he would wake me up, and the first time, one of them was to let me know that he knew about my fears and he knew where I worked. So before meeting this person the very first time, I wanted to know what type of car they had, because I had this dream, and like I told you, that every time I'm getting chased, I end up in the projects, right? And so before we had met, I was wanting to know what kind of car he had, you know what I'm saying? So, because it was this dream that I had, it was 2 dreams, and I'm thinking that van was for my brother, though. But it was a van and a white car. Both of them I was running, I end up in the project. So with the van, this one happened at the beginning. So when my dream started, it's like I had to kind of learn along as they was coming. You know what I'm saying? So when I had dreamed about my brother, I wasn't expecting it to come true, although I've had a few come true. You know what I'm saying? But so this dream, I want to say, was around the beginning, but I was it was like me and my cousin, we was somewhere, and then we had ran, like they was trying to get us, and we run, and I end up getting in the project. So I'm on Withrow Way, and by this time the projects was gone. That's why the projects was tore down, but in the dream I was on Withrow, and my brother was in the house. I guess it was probably his house, I'm guessing. And we did it. He opened the door, and I was like, come on, somebody's trying to get me, they trying to get me. So we looking out the way. I cut the lights off. Somehow the lights got cut off, and we flies up the stairs, right? And then we peeping out the window, and I'm seeing the car, like, how Withrow was the little circle, it was like circling around, like trying to find where I was going, where I was at. And I mean, it felt so real, you know what I'm saying? And then the next time I was working at Amazon, in this dream, I was working at Amazon and I was leaving out. But the crazy part is that I worked at Amazon a lot of times. You heard me? Amazon will back get a lot out of me. You know what I'm saying? So back in today's Amazon, but at this time, but I wasn't working at Amazon while I had this dream. But in the dream, I was working at Amazon. But when I was leaving out, a black girl was like, there's somebody out there for you. And I walked out, but it wasn't the Amazon building. But it's like I was working and it was this SUV. It was this specific SUV, the color of the car. And so automatically I knew they was there. You know what I'm saying? And I just started running and I end up in the projects. And at this time I'm like, I want to say Aspendale or something. Maybe I was on Withrow with I don't know what. And at the time the projects was gone too. And I'm running and I got an SUV and the projects was so big, you know what I'm saying? So when I was younger, it's like the project seemed like it was huge, especially when we try to find the buddy's truck. But as we got older, like the projects weren't that big, but I'm guessing because, certain parts was already torn down. So in this street, I'm trying to find it. So I'm pressing my alarm, trying to find, because I can't remember and at the time, this SUV is riding around trying to find me. So I've had these two dreams. So it's like I needed to be on the lookout for the specific color, van or SUV. So this man, he knew about this dream, so he winds up sending me a picture of his car. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, you know what I'm saying? Although I didn't think it, but I just want to be like, because I've had dreams to come true, especially when you dream of deaths. You know what I'm saying? I can't take nothing. And these was like two dreams, although they was different cars, but they was the same color. And one was a van and one was SUV. So he already knew this, you know what I'm saying? So when God woke me up to say, he knows your fear, he knows where you work, it made me think. And the dream actually happened. I was working at this place, but my second job was Amazon. That's the crazy thing. And there was a black girl. But instead of her saying somebody's out there for you, she asked, is that your car out there? It's like whenever things happen, it's not like I automatically know. Like everything gotta come to be like, and then it happens. Like with the death of my brother, when I was at the hospital and stuff like that, with him, both times, it wasn't like, it's like afterwards, after everything is like done and over with anything. It ain't like I automatically be like, except the one time with when that man, whenever something's brought to my attention and it's like I dreamed it, but most times if something happened and I don't see it to bring it back to my memory, it's like I don't think about it until after everything just gotta, until I get my emotions and everything together. You know what I'm saying? But so I was working at this place, this cleaning company, and when I go outside, my car was like pushed away from the camera. They wanted me. I had to park towards the street, so it was this specific SUV and it's dark. You know what I'm saying? And it was just with the lights on, tinted windows. I mean, and it was just setting in front of my car. And so I'm just like, and there's no, like across the street from this place is like assisted living. It ain't like it would be somebody that's like a house or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Of why and then it's like a hotel that was on the backside. You know what I'm saying? It was just weird. So I'm talking to my friend in my earphones, as I usually do, and it was just parked there. And I just pulled my phone out and I just started taking pictures, you know what I'm saying? And the car drove off. And I mean, at this time, I'm just like, like heart's racing. But that was the moment where I'm like, my dream, like, hell no, And so when I left this man, when God said, woke me up to be like, he know your fear, he knows where you work. Uh, there's an interview. If you look up under my author interviews, you will see that there's an unavailable uh, interview with this man, which I got his email and stuff like that, and got his name. But there's an unavailable email, a video. And in this video, I'm talking to this man. I think he was probably my second interview that I did after I became this author. It was like in February, okay? It was in February of 2000. I became an author 2020 of, so this was 2021. And so I had sent it to this man, because I was, this man had pushed me into my greatness, helped me to push me into my greatness. God had used him to push me into my greatness. I don't want to take God away from me because like I said, everything happens for a reason, whether it's good, bad, and ugly. And so, and I know that he read the book, seen this video because he was talking about how the man was always interrupting, but he was fascinated when I started talking about my dreams. So when he found out this man in this video was knowing about my dreams, he's wanting to know about the dreams and stuff like that. So I work at Alliance. I had worked at Alliance in medical staffing. And then I worked at Alliance. So I was telling him about this vice president, which his name is Mr. Aberly, right? So I was telling him about this vice president that was, at this place. But I said Alliance Coal for the coal mines. And because for people that do know me, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want them to think I was lying because, I got two of them that's Alliance. So that's why I said Alliance with the coal mines. And so when God had said that, that's why I'm like, like, oh my goodness. So in the dream, I'm talking about how I had a dream, how I'm cleaning his room. I was cleaning his room, and how the room turned into a hospital. So it was like all of a sudden, like as I'm in his room cleaning in the dream, it just turns into it was like a window right there, and it's like he's over here with his family, and he turns to me with his grandchild, and I was assuming it was his grandchild because he's an older gentleman. And this is before I even knew this man was the vice president. This man had gotten my book. He didn't pre-order it. He was a sweet man. It was to the point where I would sneak my daughter in, right? And I would not have expected this man to be vice president because there is no way I would have had told him this dream. So, so I'm in his office cleaning in the dream, turns into a hospital. He's turning to me, and so a couple of days had passed, and I was so anxious. But in that video, I stated that he had to go see his grandchild in Texas, and I'm guessing because I said that because I was going to be going to Texas to do that interview, but it wound up being in Alabama. And so I was so anxious to see, because I'm like, first of all, why is this man in my dreams? You know what I'm saying? And not only that, because I had two other dreams. That was one with somebody in the family had gotten hit in their face, and then the second one I had ran into somebody in Kroger's that was one of the guys that was with my brother that night, and he was trying to explain to me. So I was like, and like I said, this is the first time they came in threes, and I was just like, and when they do come in threes, it's not like they come in the exact order either. So this right here is showing you that it's not necessarily always that way, but when they do come in threes, I do have to take heed to those. And so I was so anxious to see this man. So when I finally seen him a couple of days later, I was cleaning up the room next to him, and he was there, and he was, about to say goodnight and stuff like that. And I was like, can I ask you a question? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, did you just have a grandchild or are you expecting? And he looked at me, he was like, well, I'm expecting a grandchild in 2 weeks. And he's looking, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want this man thinking that I'm in there meddling if he got anything in his room, you know what I'm saying, his office. So I was like, well, what I'm about to tell you, don't look at me any different. And I was like, well, I have dreams that come true. And I was cleaning your office in my dream, and it turns into uh, 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 a hospital, and y'all was over there, and you turned to me with this grandchild. And so he's just, anytime anybody knows that I have dreams and stuff, which is since I became an author is when I started talking about it. So it ain't like I just go around telling people because, you know, it's something I still, like I said, I just had to come to accept it. You know what I'm saying? And it takes a toll on you because, like I said, he can tell us things about people that we love, we think that we are cool with, you know what I'm saying? And then come and find out he's trying to warn us of people. So it's extra. So for those that be thinking and wanting the dreams and wish you could be, just be careful what you wish for and ask for. Although I never asked for this or wish for this, you know what I'm saying? But it do take a toll on you. So I'm telling him these things and stuff like that. This man, I'm telling him these dreams. So when the day was about to come for him to take off to go to Alabama, I was cleaning in the front, and he was like, Chris, I'm gonna be leaving, and I was like, oh, it's that time, to go with the grandchild to be delivered, and he was like, yeah, can you pray for me? And I was like, oh no, nothing ain't, because I done told him all these horrible things about, my dreams and stuff. I was like, oh no, nothing bad's gonna happen, nothing bad's gonna happen. And so, when he walked off, I was like, oh Lord, please don't let nothing happen to that baby. Like, please, but in the dream it wasn't that. He was just happy he turned to me to show me the baby. You know what I'm saying? And that was so, but when that dream came true, when he told me that, he was expecting, that's why I was like, oh I got these other two dreams to be prepared for, which those two dreams did come. So whenever I would go to Kroger's, I would try to go in and out, like try to fly in and out. And my close friends and family can tell you this. Like, I absolutely did not want to see this man. And in this dream, I was going to fill out for a job at one of them temp services, and it wound up being in the Kroger's. So that's how, and I was just like, and it wound up happening, but not with the person that was supposed to be, but with somebody else that was there with my brother that night. And then after that, it's like I was cool to be in Kroger's. You know what I'm saying? The dream had already came to pass. And then somebody in the family got hit in the face. Yeah, it was just crazy. But the although the Kroger's dream was the second dream, that wound up coming last. Yeah, so it don't automatically always got to come in the order. So when the man gets back from this grandchild, he calls me to his office, and he shows me pictures, and I was like, see, when I make it, you know what I'm saying, when I make it, you could tell your grandchild I seen him before he was even born. So the grandchild probably should be like 3 years old. I want to say like around in October. I want to say it's been that long. And so one day, I just was like, what is your name? And he told me, he was like, and I'm the vice president. And I was just like, knowing I just snuck my daughter in there and had him meet her and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But he was nice. And I was like, I wouldn't have thought of you of being, because I mean, and then my mouth, you know what I'm saying? I was like, people like you, we call them big wigs in the nursing home. Why? I'm telling you, my mouth. But he was a sweet man, I'm telling you, yeah. But he wound up buying my book and and pre-ordered it and read my book and ordered the book and read it. And so, yeah. And so in that interview, that's what I was basically explaining, how I was working at this place, and it was a vice president there, and how I had dreamed. And then when God had was talking about when he woke me up again, talking about that. Don't let him tell you that he ain't read your book. Find it. You gotta find the proof that he read it. So here it goes. I didn't hit it from y'all. And then if you go up under LinkedIn, I'm showing out on LinkedIn. So somebody had asked me to talk about celebrities and stuff like that. They was like, yeah, because you can get your views up. I ain't gonna do that because I already got enough haters. You know what I'm saying? Them celebrities, I ain't studying them. I got enough haters and demons that's already surrounding me. But you know how them rap people, and I only tell y'all this to be truthful. I always tell you, just because God told me to write, I don't want you to think that I'm this perfect person because I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And then people may say something about, those that say that God told us to deliver a message, and how do we talk and speak the way? But I want to say in one note, I want to say in Proverbs, Psalms, one of them, I can't remember, where it says that he will send his cruel messenger. You know what I'm saying? To deliver a message to the rebellious. So, it ain't always you got to be all holier than thou. You know what I'm saying? When you do see people that do come, because that's why I say with the second book is going to get hood. And then I guess that's because, and when I seen that scripture, I'm like, okay, it do make sense because I guess I need to focus on who I'm supposed to get. You know what I'm saying? The attention of my crowd instead of trying to find everybody because, you know, you got people that ain't that don't go to church. So my story, anybody's story, it will be the only Bible that somebody may ever read. That is true. So, like I was saying, LinkedIn, you know how them rappers and stuff, they be beefing, and which I ain't trying to beef, because whenever I do that, I be trying to fly back to the Bible, because he said we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, you can't be trying to do, but I'm like, come on, God, I don't know what else you want me to do at this time. So I'm over there talking, but that's only to, keep luring them to me. I'm thinking we about to get this on the go. So, this man that, I hit mad, God's telling me, he read the book. Don't let him tell. So I want you to look up under my shorts. Up under my shorts, you will see that I had been posting things where it's chapter 3. And this is weird, y'all. I mean, y'all probably never would firsthand hear this to somebody. Because me, some of my family and friends, we just like, what is... It's just unbelievable. It's to the point they just like, and I'm just like, we just like, what in the hell is going on? So I got chapter 3, and then I got a car with a car. I got the license plate blurred out for right now. You know what I'm saying? So when I find this proof that the man had read the book, I had to send it to him. I sent him the screenshot of the year. It was like September 2018. I sent it to him because he was convincing me that he didn't never read the book, but I'm like, but how he's talking, it's like, and I'm just like, but when God said that, I'm just like, so I sent him the screenshot of the email of him saying, very good read. And then I sent him the chapter 3 of the book, and then I sent him his car, and he replied back like, "What is this?" Which he's a very, very smart man. You know what I'm talking about. You said you didn't read that book, so this book is in the. I don't even know how to even say this to y'all. So there's this man, right? This is up under my shorts too. So I told y'all that I wrote about this specific person, and I started writing my book in February. So as I wrote the book in February, right? I wrote the book in February, and I meet the person, and I want to say October. I meet this person, And I'm just like, what are the odds? You know what I'm saying? So when I find out that he's this person, you can see from where I'm saying that I've already written my book. I just have to have it copywritten and send off to publishers. So the man is like pushing me into my greatness, like I say. And so you can see that the story was already written before I made this, before I met him. You know what I'm saying? So when I find out that he's this person, I'm asking him what are things are to be seen in the office, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. Uh, in this psychologist's office, and what would I call him? Because and as we started talking more, before I did that, a lot of people talk about they like sex stories. Well, my book, I had those two little sex scenes, and how they was just, that was just, and so I figured I could use my skills since he's from a different state. I'm like, so I just started writing little sex parts. So as he's, I guess he's feeling his little self, and I'm in the midst. I'm asking him, okay, well, what's that? Because I don't want to make it just look like, okay, I'm trying to just use him. You know what I'm saying? So as he's writing back, I'm writing, the little sex, little stories and stuff like that. I'm using this to be like, well, what's in that office? You know what I'm saying? And I don't consider that as like taking it, like trying to use nobody. But I mean, God sent them for a reason, so I'm back getting everything I can for this book. And then eventually it did lead to whatever it was, and so in every interview, early interviews, I had said like I just used his first name and just his height and weight, and that's it. That's it. That's the only thing. In the book, he's never said anything to me or anything. Like, I never changed anything in the first book. It was already written. And I remember he even asked me how would I know what a psychologist would say. I'm like, I knew that I wasn't tripping. And so, I had eventually, which I'm going to tell you, I was scared to get on the plane. I got to get on the plane for the first time. Now it's like I love being on the plane. After I went to California, flew out of California the first time, I went to Cancun the next time. I did. So I got over my fear. So God did use him. But like I said, when I was supposed to went back to California, it didn't happen. And that's when I got that sermon of like, God was like, he told me to tell you, I didn't mean for that relationship to work. I meant for that relationship to move you. And so I went to visit him, and it wasn't like at, you know what I'm saying? It was like 2017. So it was like the following year of August of 2018 is when I got flown out to California. And so he had this red Hyundai. And so it was like September, like I said, is when he replied back of saying, great read with the book before I became an author. And so now the family, for those that want to know about the second book, we at the part where I guess I got to tell y'all, it ain't no need of us, me trying to hide anything from you all. But so he gets this car after I went there. So he gets this car. So we got people straddling the fence. Some want me to change the second book of using somebody else. And then I'm like, no, because the character, I already had this person. And it's so crazy because I'm trying to beat around the bush. The man went out and got the car as the character in the book. And I guess it's to look like that's where we're lost. Because he tried to act like he didn't read the book, but that's when God was like, he did read the book. You need to find the proof. And went out. But when I was there, he didn't have the car, the 4-door Mercedes with tinted windows. And then somebody brought to my attention, they think that he did that before he came, before I became an author, because I became an author in 2020. So he got the car, so it would look like that it is him. So everybody's lost, basically, the ones that know. We lost. And then when I left him in in LA, it's like he will be talking like the man don't know me, like absolutely nothing. Like he didn't know that I lost my granny and my son the same day. But I'm thinking, that's why I'm like, I thought you do. And he was like, no, but it's in the book, which is proof that you read the book. So he's just trying to make it. He asked me there, when's your birthday? And I'm telling him, but then when I get home, he's like, when's your birthday? And I tell him, and then he was like, well, that's my father's birthday. I didn't know your birthday. And I'm thinking to myself, you just asked me in LA when the hell was my birthday. How the hell? I'm like, oh, now he got amnesia. Now he got amnesia. He got amnesia. And that's when God was like, and it didn't dawn on me when God was like, with the jumping out of his window with the snake. He was the second snake. And when he woke me up to say, he know where you worked at, so I told you the woman that I figured that was the snake. When God woke me up out of my sleep, to tell me not to be around her no more, I could not go back to sleep. I could not. I told you it disturbed me. It disturbed me so bad. It did. Because that was that same feeling that I told you that I ignored. So I waited, and because they 3 hours behind us, so I waits for him, and I'm emailed him and asked, can he call me? He did. So he winds up calling me, and I was like telling him how I was feeling. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, there's this woman there, and this, and God had woke me up, and I had this dream about this snake, and that's when he was like, you gotta be careful about. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, but how is it that it is him that I'm jumping out of the window? You know what I'm saying? Which I didn't tell him that part then. You know what I'm saying? But it just. And he was like, yeah, so I'm opening up to him, and I'm just telling him how I feel, and how she was making me feel, and and these things that I was experiencing being around her, and and he was like, yeah, well, don't don't be back around her there, basically, which God already told me, but I just needed to get this up off of my chest. You know what I'm saying? But when God said he knows your fear and knows where you work, and I'm not putting none of this together, after I left her, about a couple of weeks later, that incident happened. And when I was freaking out, I took the trash to the trash bin. As I'm leaving, my car is shaking. So as the person drove off in this car, they now bent down over by the gas station that's by this place. But it was a white woman. And I'm talking to my friend, but my wheels are shaking, and I'm like, I don't know how long this person had been out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they fled my tires or what. You know what I'm saying? I got to get on New Circle Road. I hope I'm making sense to you. I'm hoping that I'm making sense to you. So when I met this woman, When she found out that I was an author, I promise you, this is no bull. This ain't no lie. She finds out I'm an author, right? Of why I became an author. I told her I had a dream, dream my brother's death. I had my encounter with God, spiritual encounter with God, and how I started writing. Wrote about a psychologist, me telling him the stories about my life, and how I wound up meeting one, and y'all, I did something petty. I'm gonna tell y'all. So the second time he was playing, right? So I sent him some Monopoly money because he wanted me to pay him for this that flight. And I'm petty. I am it is as vindictive. I'm just being, but I paid him back. I paid him back, which is so I paid him back. I sent the money to him, right? And I was just like, well, since you like playing games, it's only fair that I play you with play money, right? So please don't nobody do that. No, I might go down as history as a story I did not want to tell y'all. I told you guys working on me. And so, so I was telling her, yeah, and we don't talk no more. We still friends now. But I had sent him some Monopoly money, swear on my brother. This woman looked up in the air, was like this. Why does that story sound familiar? And my antennas went up. Because I'm just like, how the hell she know about that? And my friend said, are you sure they don't know each other? So after that, she was like, do you got a picture of him? And I was like, yeah, and I'm doing something, trying to pass, because I'm like, what the hell? She want to see a picture. She waited about 5 minutes later, was like, do you have a picture? Let me see. And I shows her the picture, and her name. After that, all hell broke. After that, her day. And that's when my friend said, are you sure? And I'm just like, dog, he's all the way in California. I can't see how the hell. Hey, y'all, I'm telling you, you gotta be careful because you don't know who knows who. And then it hit me. He did say that he did 10 years in clinical psychology in Cincinnati. And then it make me wonder with the situation with the first one where my ex-boyfriend was like, I love you, Crystal. I don't want you to go to Cincinnati. It was probably him too trying to tell me, honey, do not go to Cincinnati. But like I said, because that's where I first met him at when we first connected after talking like for months, you know what I'm saying? And I think about that too, because I don't know why my ex-boyfriend came and said that in that dream, I love you, Kristen, I don't want you to go to Cincinnati. And it makes me think about that too, of him saying of all places that he didn't want me to go to Cincinnati. And so, first book, wrote, manifested one person. Second book, manifested her. How that happened, and I ask all the time, how did this happen? Is this normal? I continuously, that's why my friends and family, the ones that's close, know, they tell me, you got to take your time, Crystal. Don't think when you write, you got to just, and even when I start worrying, they tell me, don't worry, don't think about it, because you manifest, your manifestation is crazy. And even in that Job, in that book of Job, he says, everything that I thought that was, one of them verses, he was like, everything that I thought that would happen came to pass. So that do make me where I try not to focus on like what could happen or what would happen. And as weird of a story as this, I know Stephen King. This is one of these Stephen King stories. Some old secret window time. So we at a point where we have a man that act like he didn't read the book, that read the book, and got the same car. So I want to ask you all. You ain't even got to put it down here. Just answer yourself. What would make him get the same car as the psychologist in this book? Or are we tripping? And like I said, after that incident with the at the Alliance, what happened there, after that, all this weird shit started happening. All these weird things. To not just me, but that's a different story. But yeah, so as weird that this sounds, I wrote 2 books, like I told you. And now that I'm telling you this and you heard this, I need you, if you ain't listened to them story times, I need you to listen. You could skip the first story time, but listen to that story time 1, part 2, or you could do just the last one, the one before this one, and the one before that one, and listen to this one. And now, after you heard this, I want you to go back and listen to For My Fans. And that's why I put in parentheses to listen. Because I don't know if you listened, but I've been, saying things without saying things. But yeah, so for my fans, just want to know this is where I'm at. And I've been on LinkedIn kind of, taking jabs and stuff and flying back, getting back, I told you, to the Bible and stuff, because I'm thinking each time that I'm setting them up of, like I'm ready to get this done and over with. Because at the end of the day, you can't stop what God got. And for him, if he sees this, watching me, because, I put this up under my LinkedIn too, he reminds me of Saul and Samuel. That's why I say them stories in them Bibles. I can see myself in some of them stories, and I know that you can too. So if you feel like you're a black sheep, Samuel's a good story because it's showing you how he was the one that was anointed, and he was the black sheep, and that's who God chose. So those stories in the Bible do fit our lifestyle, our lives. And with him, it shows you that, Saul was the king. And although David was, he was going to be taken over. And after he then whooped Goliath, you know what I'm saying? He's a shepherd. He's a Goliath. He whooped Goliath. And then how they was, cheering for David. Saul done killed thousands, but David done killed the tens of thousands, and Saul did not like that. So jealousy came upon. And then he wanted to kill him. Not saying with him, but sometimes people that's more successful, and that's what I've noticed. Sometimes I be thinking God sent people in my life, and it had hit me. I be sent to people's lives. People can have more money than you, and this is for real, more successful than you. And you having you being you, they not really happy. And that's can break upon jealousy or them being successful. You not being successful, but you got something deep inside, a gift so good that you can do it better than them. It's a lot of things. But yeah, most definitely. He reminds me of Saul. He reminds me of Saul just because he pushed me into my greatness only to have the knife in his back. Behind his back. But God was showing me. And that's why I say I need you to look back at those of how God was trying to stop me from being around him. He gave me the dream, but I was so blinded because, He sent him to help me, to push me. So I'm knowing she's the woman snake, but I couldn't understand who is the man snake. But that's why he used me jumping out his window, I guess, to open up, to be like, because you ain't going to know it's him unless. But it dawned on me, and it was two snakes. And who did I tell you? How many people did I tell you that I manifested? Two people. Who was the snake? Female and the male. Who was the one that struck me? The female. So I know this is a story that is just, yeah. So that's at the part. We got some people that want me to kill him off and to kill this character off, so that, and put somebody else in. And I don't. We don't know. We don't know. So that's where we at. So look up under my shorts, where you can see that it was written before I met him, and you can see that he got that car. And that's what I'm saying. I'm just waiting of what's coming. But yeah, if you look me up on LinkedIn, you can see a lot of other stuff. I'm up there. I'm under there. If you are holier than thou, don't even look up under there, because you going to clutch on your pearls and be like, what is going on? So yeah, but I got to go. This video is much longer, but than what it was intended to be. And I gotta get ready for the day. So y'all have a nice morning, day, evening, whatever you're watching from. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.